All right, it is Friday, May 28th, 2021. It's currently 12:39 a.m. I am just wanting to document what is P.O.C, of course, but I just want to go ahead and make sure I specifically note the conduct right now at this hour. This is speaking to what is facilitation, even by omission, all right? So you have what is a facilitating venue, Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. Not answering the front office phone. Again, this is a business, and in the event of an actual emergency, and in the event of what is the substantial disturbance that third-party group stalkers are intentionally creating pursuant to what I'm doing on the internet. Yes, it is P.O.C, but dealing with the cockroaches in their alternate universe where they are not monitoring, you hold them down to what are reasonable expectations. And so that is addressing what is substantial noise. And this is the amplification of music sounding like a tuba. Boom, 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 boom. This is called amplification, and it occurred with simultaneity to what I was doing on the internet, which at that time what I was doing was literally with simultaneity to my getting on my page pursuant to episode 1 of P.O.C at this venue. As I get on that page and I begin to edit, I select editing. This is when this amplification of music sounds. It sounds as though it's of the Mexican heritage music, sounding like tuba. Regardless of it, it's audible activity. Literally right now at 12:30, well, it's 12:40 right now, 12:39 a.m. after I hung up the phone, after calling the front office, and I literally let it ring for about 2 minutes straight, which is a long time when you're waiting for the phone to ring. So I let it ring for a long time on purpose. All right. This is documenting their facilitation. And that is facilitation by omission. First of all, they are not unaware. They are not uninvolved. They are aware of what's going on the cameras. They use them to monitor. They are monitoring, aware of every word that I'm uttering right now. They are acting in concert with the third parties and the state that is actually amplifying the sound of music while group stalkers are seen on camera loitering around the room. Okay, so what you're seeing on camera, and it looks like someone's just listening to their music. I've already demonstrated this in the videos. Well, I'm just going to isolate it to P.O.C. I've shown this in the overall pattern of conduct, but I've also shown it in my videos here, where a group stalker, namely the black female in the white Kia, she is playing music, and I'm showing in the video, it's not even very loud. I'm downstairs, walking downstairs. She's using her vehicle to molest with light to create visible activity and audible activity as she is then moving in motion out of her parking spot as I come downstairs. And that same music was used, amplified inside of the room. And you hear it, it's not even at a level, first of all, where it's going to literally create any impact inside of my room. But second of all, the state is amplifying that. And the state is using none other than the presence of third parties to provide the implausible guise of such activity. Okay, this is how the state operates its system. This is why where the state's pattern of conduct is underway, it is automatically implicating that third party venue, which is the P.O.C. The people of the state are engaged in that system with the entity. On the venue of the internet, it is that same analogous principle, and it is a question of fact as to the extent, if at all, any third party on the venue of the internet is engaged in the state's criminal pattern of conduct. But in relevant position, there is no getting out of it. And I just want to document now what was the creation of audible activity. It is 12:39 in the morning, and this has been prolonged. Amplifying this sound of what's supposed to be music. This is the state. It is the same as sirens. It is the same as knocking in the wall. It is the same as the sound of cracking in the room. It is the same as the state vibrating the bed while I'm inside of the room. It is the same as the state amplifying the sound of traffic through the walls, through the door closed, and all of it. It's just a different method. What's the method of audible activity? Sounding the amplification of like tuba sounding music. Boom, 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 boom. And it is used to stalk with my online activity. So this is the people of the state engaging in what is federal level harassment. This facilitating venue, it is facilitation by virtue of not answering the phone. Even understand, as I've also shown, even if they answer the phone and then they engage in, oh, okay, we'll address it. This is not stopping the pattern of conduct. I merely document that. This is documentation of the people of the state of California engaged in an ongoing criminal effort to monitor on the venue of the internet in violation of existing federal law, and engaged in an ongoing sex offense while it is monitoring the entirety of a life, exceeding my mere use of the internet and my communication devices. Okay, this is where S.I.I.S. federal legislation, as I advocate it, comes into play. Okay, so that's what they are doing, and I just want to document that it's 12:43 a.m. and that is the front office not answering the phone. That is and this is also what has been documented, this same facilitating venue, these same third parties, the people of the state engaged in kidnapping from this very venue, while I was engaged in making no disturbance whatsoever. Quite to the contrary, while I was standing outside merely gathering video of criminal activity that they were no doubt engaged in. You have third parties that were engaged in ongoing harassment, as I documented it, cussing me out, using their kids to cuss at me, which was nothing but the creation of audible activity while they were maintaining presence. They were monitoring via harassment. Okay. And that was what you heard, and that animosity as I was documenting, but not creating any disturbance. But to the contrary, when there is actually a disturbance, it is not addressed. Okay, so that is facilitation. There is no getting out of it. You're facilitating, period, where the state's fake sun and if the state's fake moon and the state is flying over, remaining at your property. That's facilitation in every way. But I just want to document that, and that is P.O.C. At this hour, like I've stated, the pattern of conduct is ceaseless. All right, and it's 12:45 a.m. on Friday, May 28, 2021, and group stalkers will be seen on the surveillance cameras. I mean, on a ceaseless basis, but I just want this pursuant to what I'm documenting right now, this little time capsule, pursuant to what I was doing on the internet. You're going to see them. They're males. Those are male voices that I heard outside of my room, and they're heard talking and conversing, again, audible activity, while the state is amplifying the sound of music, all right, and doing it pursuant to what I am doing online, all right? That's the passive-aggressive conduct of the people. Not so passive-aggressive because of that hostility that I continue to document while they're monitoring and expressing that demonic aggression, that hostility, which is personified through the very pattern of conduct itself. The state's use of light, third parties' conduct, as I documented, that's an unlawful threat that they are waging, which they shall be prosecuted for. And the people of the state engaged in an ongoing harassment, engaging in this sort of disturbance is relevant to their pattern of conduct, and it is harassment and threatening conduct to that end. That is P.O.C. It is Friday, May 28th, 2021. It's currently 4:11 p.m. What will be seen on surveillance cameras outside of the room that I remain in at Economy Inn is the P.O.C. I want to be clear, the people engaged in what is harassment while they are constantly monitoring my documentation. And so this is not only criminal monitoring with communication devices and on the venue of the internet, while they are also group stalking in relevant position. This is also that demonic feature of what is the expression of hostility simultaneously while engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. And so at 4:09 p.m., you have what is banging on the door. They are loitering in relevant position right now as I speak, which would be seen on the surveillance cameras. This is P.O.C. And what is heard is amplification of booming on my door, just like I just captured the other day when you heard what was the entity banging on the door. Directed light is in the room. The state's fake sun is over the venue. After you heard what was the amplification of just loud noise coming through the walls, that's the same entity. And then you heard what was banging on the door and then trying to break in through the door. And then I also documented the front office denying any knowledge and denying the fact that they were engaged in it. That is all P.O.C. But I want to be clear right now what the entity is engaged in. And this is while, and let me be clear what the entity is hostile to, all of my documentation, but specifically as I am speaking about documentation that I captured in 2020 at this venue, Economy Inn, 2301 South Euclid Avenue, while I was capturing their ongoing criminal activity, which they're going to be prosecuted for. And then the subsequent kidnapping, which the people of the state of California are directly engaged in. And everything that I am documenting, the entity is not only monitoring, it is also expressing hostility as I am documenting it. I'm sorry, as I'm publishing it and putting it all into its relevant context as I'm organizing my website. And so what you have right now is relevant positioning. They are on the cameras, as they've been doing all day, but I just wanted to go ahead and capture this. The state has, again, today, acting via Economy and engaging in that same use of this is the entity, this is the state that is amplifying sound inside of my room. Group stalkers are maintaining presence, and this is the use of what is loud drilling, banging, hammering. This is the sound that the state is creating while group stalkers are lording in relevant positions in the room centered around where my room is at 227. This is at 12:28 p.m. as at the same time that I wake up and I change the channel on the television and then I go back to sleep. They continue this loud audible activity centered on the wall where this bed rests. That's the east wall, and continue that activity. And this is amplification of audible activity with simultaneity to my activity in the room, meaning as I wake up from sleeping, as I start to change the channel, and then as I lay back down. I want to be clear, that's the ongoing monitoring. That is also the harassment and the threatening conduct by the people of the state. This is right now at 4. It's now 13 p.m. Group stalking, loitering outside of the door, engaging in what is form for criminal presence and activity creation while the state is aiming light inside of this venue. They are present in relevant position under the state's fake sun, which is directly over this venue. They are present while the state is directing light in an impossible manner inside of this room and creating light activity. All right, as I have documented all of that. This is what is coinciding with their criminal presence. This is the people of the state engaged in what is that harassment while they're monitoring and engaged in an ongoing sex offense. They're not only listening and monitoring my activity on the internet inside of the room, they're also doing the exact same conduct on a ceaseless basis while I'm physically undressed, while I'm engaged in personal activity, listening to everything in that same regard with that entity that is acting with it, on whose behalf they are maintaining presence and activity, patrolling. Okay, these are psychopaths that you're looking at on the surveillance cameras, and I just want to provide context as to what is seen on the surveillance cameras right now. This is documentation specifically noting the criminal activity. It's Friday, May 28, 2021. It's 4:14 p.m., and I just want to be clear as to what I am documenting. The third parties, as I am speaking to, their ongoing harassment. As I've already established, monitoring is ceaseless, okay? Engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring to not only monitor, but to harass while they are hostile to what I am publishing, what they're monitoring I'm doing on the internet, which is speaking to the criminal activity as I captured it last year in 2020, speaking to the criminal conduct that this entity, that is the people of the state, engaged in with the Ontario Police Department and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department on the venue of the internet as well. So the entity is expressing hostility to that, engaging in what is banging on my door, and then maintaining presence. And again, that's the state creating the sound of what is banging on my door, the entity that the people are acting with, amplifying audible activity. And then they maintain presence outside of my door, engaging in loitering in relevant position while the state is monitoring everything that I'm doing, and they are monitoring everything I'm doing. That's what psychopaths do, by the way, and that's a sex offender. The people of the state, every single last documented, identified actor engaging in that ongoing activity, criminal activity while I remain here. It's 4:16 p.m. That is P.O.C.